bumming my phone. My phone blowing up. Come on. You need to go home. Get out. Call me Felicia. High school romance. Aww. Now you got a boyfriend. Come on. And I'm still a drug addict. Puff, puff. Hold up. I need a fucking blow up. I need a fucking bang. I need some fucking rain. I need a bang.
You see how much they're destroying Joe Rogan?
Yeah, they're going after Joe
These
Rogan
days?
because they're dying, bro.
It's crazy. Like, just the fact that Joe Rogan is part of this like conversation to that degree amazes me. Honestly, it amazes me. Like for fuck's sakes, like. Just it's like I feel it's such bullying, like this huge gigantic media machine just like on this man's ass. Like I can't imagine what it must feel like to have a family and to like try to live a life when the whole machine it just wants your fucking head. You know?
think does he give a shit? I don't know.
I think it's like at some point, bro, it's a lot, I feel.
Yeah, but I feel like of the people who but maybe I'm just like passing judgment off of someone I don't know that well, but I feel like he's just like, all right, whatever, man. I'm gonna keep doing,
He's really good at not caring.
Yeah.
Because he has like 11 million listeners every episode.
Every episode, bro.
Which is crazy numbers.
Insane.
Crazy numbers.
It's like that blows CNN out of the water.
Yeah, no, it does. Apparently, all of the mainstream media put together don't even amount to that.
Don't touch them.
That's a wild statistic.
Yeah.
And for that reason, all the mainstream media is going after him because they know that they're going to liberate like, I don't know, 100 millions of views if they cancel Rogan.
Right.
And where are those views going to go? They're going to trickle down and back into mainstream because people won't have a choice, right?
Yeah. What is like Fox News saying? Are they saying anything about it?
I don't know. I feel a lot of CNN talking about it.
So that's
he did apologize for like the video compilation that
the
came
N-word
out
one.
This
today.
motherfucker said the hard R more than I have.
Yo, dude, that was like dude.
I was like, yo, damn, Joe.
Yeah, I was watching Tim Dillon's podcast today, and he was like, "Let's just say Nutella." Okay, let's just say he was saying Nutella. And honestly, he was saying Nutella.
Hard R.
But at the same time, I feel like he kind of slipped up because I'm like, yo, if you're a public figure and you're like recording a podcast, I would always say like the N-word, or I would say ninja, or I would say like
it's a very avoidable thing. Yeah,
super avoidable. Like don't ever say it like in any context.
He was definitely like looking for trouble, like because he used to be like it's a lot of his old clips as well, you know.
Yeah.
And he used to be like, I don't know if you remember when he used to wear that head bandana or headgear, whatever, and he used to wear like his glasses, like such a like a motorcycle look, dude. Like his old podcast episodes, you see his headgear, bro. It's on point. It looks like he just came off a Harley Davidson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, like freedom of speech, like more than today. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like he's like more of like a mature man now than like he was before. But like, yeah, that's a cringy ass clip. Imagine, bro, you wake up and you see that, you're like, oh my god. And I feel like it was bound to happen. I would have. Honestly,
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, if I'm being honest.
Dude, you could probably dig up the craziest shit just with people podcasting. Like, I'm sure even like Andrew Schultz's show.
He says some foul shit,
He
too.
says some foul ass shit.
I mean, he's
sometimes.
still saying foul shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
does.
but back in the days, like him on Joe Rogan when he was like, I don't know, like this was like 5 years ago.
His first one.
He was fucking just saying the most foul shit. And now I feel like he calmed down because like of YouTube. Like a lot of his content is on YouTube and like probably gets bashed in the comments for so many different things that he said, you know? But yeah, you could dig up that shit and just make a fucking article upon articles, you know?
Yeah.
But the same thing could happen to us. Even with like the few amount of episodes we have, you can easily clip us sounding horrible.
Honestly, I don't think we've said anything that's
too
overtly,
crazy.
Well, you guys
racist.
don't
I feel like
say that kind of stuff regularly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So it would kind of be a stretch to actually do it, you know? But like, if we were recording this podcast 15 years ago,
probably
I would have probably like went in with some crazy ass shit. I would have probably like buried myself.
I was definitely, saying the F word and the R word so much. Like that was just
Which one's the R word?
like retard.
Oh yeah, that I've said.
Yeah.
Retard is one that I sometimes say, but that I avoid. But I feel like
It's more common in French though. It's like
retardé.
Yeah.
Well, but it's just a hard word. It's just like keep it for certain contexts. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it's a doozy, but I don't feel it's as bad as the N word.
Oh
Not even close.
no. I mean,
And-
I just said I don't think you guys would ever be like, what's the N word, and you'd say it.
Yeah.
I just said retard because you asked what the R word is. I don't think
yeah.
any white person would be like, oh, the N word is nigger. Like,
Except for Joe Rogan, 120
apparently, yeah.
times. Dude, at
yeah,
some
it was
point,
like 70 of
dude.
his episodes that got taken out.
At some point in 60 or 50 or 70 or something like that. But bro, the amount of clips of him saying that
It's
word.
not like 3 times.
And what?
It's not even like 3 times.
No, it's not.
Dude, he says it like 70 times, bro, in that clip. It's just like, you know, the word beep, and then at some point towards the end of the clip, it just gets like even like more intense. So it's like you just hear him say it with no build up to his sentences. Just
It's like
beep,
we don't got
beep,
enough
beep,
time
beep,
for it. Yeah,
beep, beep,
we
beep.
just get it.
Fuck, man. What a horrible PR.
Speaking of
situation.
media, mainstream media, you see how like the whole convoy truck protest is being like completely twisted into racism by the
what's-
mainstream media and
I
Trudeau?
would need some enlightening because I've heard people say this, but I don't listen to the news. But apparently they're saying that like what they're like racist. That's what I heard.
Well, the org. I was curious because I was like, all right, what's a bunch of white people? What's going on? I should know about crowds of white people. And the problem is, I think the 4 of the big organizers are from really weird white supremacist views, like the whole like, oh, Anglo-Saxon white people are getting taken over by immigrants, and but I think
That whole insane narrative.
yeah. But I do think most of the people there, do believe, are there for their own reasons, are there because, it's been a long fucking pandemic and people are tired of
People
what's
are
going
fed up,
on.
man. Yeah, I feel like it was like the only thing that really bothered me is that Trudeau's social media is like not at all acknowledging the reasoning behind the protest.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
As a leader, I think you would tackle that face on. Like a good leader in my eyes would be like, yo, like I understand your frustration, but
Yeah.
the light is almost there. It's almost around the corner. Just give me like maybe a few more months. Like you would actually address the problem as a good leader. Whereas he completely ignored it and says we will not tolerate racism, homophobia, Islamophobia. He starts naming everything he could possibly name, everything that made him get elected in like 2018. It kind of looked like it just
PR move. Like,
it looked like a PR move. That's what frustrated me the most.
Not addressing the problem.
The problem.
That's an art form in itself. Like, it's also very easy to just say that these people are this or these people are that because you kind of just create a narrative. You make people you give them a reason to hate these people. But coming back to what you're saying, like imagine you would have said like, hey yo, the light is almost at the end of the tunnel. We're about to get over this. Just follow me through these next couple of months.
Times,
or or even if you said years, at this point, bro, I've been bent so many times by the government. They could probably bend me again for like another year, and I would probably bend. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you would have been, if they could be just honest about it and be like, hey, yo, just stick with me for 6 months, stick with me for a year, and then the light is gonna be at the end of the tunnel. I just can't see that happening because like that is such a promise, from his part to be, and there's so much that is revolving around this situation now, economically, politically, so many different facets of this situation that like saying that is too much of an engagement. You know?
Yeah.
It's almost too transparent.
Too hard
for,
of
like,
a promise.
Too hard of a promise, or too transparent for too humane for the way that this country is being run right now with these policies. And I mean, Quebec is its own thing,
Yeah. Boy, do we know it. Yeah, I think like it's such a weird and unpredictable time on so many levels that I can understand. Yeah, but I think even if he were to just say that, it's like, man, I know you guys are struggling. I know shit is weird. And I wish I can give you a firm thing, but the reality is this is unprecedented and we're trying to figure it out as we go. If we would have said that, then You know, I'd be all right. You know, that's a human statement.
And then you see all the truckers are like, you know what? He's right. And then they all just beep, beep. They just all reverse. Yeah. They all reverse
all
back
the
home.
way back home. There's a better way to do this. You could go forward.
But
I think it's faster if you go forward. No, this is symbolic.
Yeah, that's the on your point. That's a problem with decentralized movements, right? If there's no, it's like we're rallying about this. Like even I've seen these kind of things in BLM where it's like, I'm Jewish and I've been in BLM protests and seen like anti-Semitic things said by organizers, and I'm just like, yo, this is, and and then everyone says, well, as a collective, we're not that. But the problem is when it's decentralized, if you're not calling out the problems within it, it's going to be called out by the outside. And that's what happened. Like a lot of my Jewish friends they felt weird about BLM because they didn't feel comfortable, being around people that were saying anti-Semitic things. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucking fair. Like it's not the whole movement, but we should work within the movement to, get it out. So I think that's the problem with the Freedom Convoy is like, there's all of these, people saying problematic
within the
things.
movement that are like problematic,
and you guys aren't
pointing it out.
It's
so
like,
we're gonna point it out for you,
Exactly.
and that's honestly the most natural way to see it. But also, like when I feel like these issues are governed by such a wide variety of
it affects
point
everyone.
of views,
yeah,
that like the BLM movement or whatever other movement
it might get tainted by
so many issues, right?
Yeah,
and that's why Jonathan, we had him on the podcast last week. He was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have an opinion,
right?
Just like I don't wanna, because everybody has so many opinions now that it's hard to find a community of people that represents you thoroughly. Like you said, like they get tainted by bad apples, and there's so many more of them because of fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
But humans are so diverse in their characters, so there's always going to be conflicting like ideologies under a big umbrella movement.
Yeah.
So it's always going to happen forever.
Unless your ideology is like, hey, you like just like love your neighbor, love like even actually the most sacred scripts of all, like religious scripts like the Bible or the Quran or whatever, the Old Testament. It's even those sacred scriptures, people find a way to toxify them.
Yeah. Well, I read this really, really interesting statement. It was from this. They're called the Combahee River Collective.
Look, what?
Combahee River Collective. It's there's a long history behind the name, but essentially what they were is this group of Black queer women who, this is what we want from the world. This is what we're fighting for. This is what we're teaching for, kind of thing. And it's like 2 pages, but one of the things that they said that I found really interesting is like, there always has to be intentionality in everything that you do. So it's like, in my heart, I'm a socialist. That's what I am. But many people have this idea that socialism is going to cure us of all evils. It's like racism isn't going to exist. Sexism isn't going to exist. All these isms isn't going to exist if social. And that's a very idealistic way of looking at things. Because if you're not intentional and not paying attention to who's gonna fall between the cracks, then it's going to happen. If you're not thinking about like the weakest link of society, no matter what system you engage in and you appropriate and move with, it's going to be a problem. So it's like
that's how you build jail cells. Bro. You put all those people in jail. What do I tell you, man?
Jail and you don't have to worry about it.
You have to at some point.
It's like,
but yeah,
no matter what you do, it's like like the music we make, the people we work with. It's like, all right, everyone that we want around us and that we're with, we hope that they have these kinds of ideas. That the ideals that you love your neighbor. That
But that's an interesting point, because back in the day when I first started recording rappers, I recorded this one rapper. His name is he's still making rap music. His name is Colo.
Yeah,
and that tape that we recorded was so like gangster,
Yeah.
prostitution, drug, crack, all the hard shit, you know?
All the good shit.
All the real hard shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I was recording that, and then I was like showing, and this was one of my first projects that I ever engaged with. So I was like, you know, making my teeth, you know, when it comes to mixing and recording and making. I wasn't really making beats on that project. I was just recording and mixing the project. But I would show people, and people would be like, shit, by association, you know, the shit that he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you represent that,
yeah, right?
And I was like making the argument that no, you know, that I did it for, you know, the experience. And honestly, I fuck with rap music, and it didn't seem wrong at that point, you know.
Right.
But I do understand that, you know, that is an example of watch out with who you engage with, because, for example, the Me Too movement, I know a lot of people that got called out. And they were part of a gang, you know, that I did not engage with. And God knows that if I would have been there for that,
right,
I would have become a problem by association.
Yeah.
People, you know, I've already done, growing up as a man, I've done crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And if people would see me engage with other people that are problematic, then maybe some people might have something against me and bring that shit back up, you know? Because I know, you know, I have so many friends that I could bring up crazy shit about a lot of different people, but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we all got skeletons in our closet, and I think that's the problem. I think is that everyone, it's like we're kind of defeating ourselves, because like once you
open that door, once you open that. It's Pandora's box. You know what I'm saying? Once you start
nobody's safe,
bro.
Really, but
imagine, bro, 12 years of you recording yourself, and somebody goes through that, and you know that's a perfect example of, you know, somebody keeping something against you, you know.
Yeah, like, but that's why like this whole cancellation culture has to like kind of like tone down, I find, because we're gonna put ourselves in a corner where if we become so censored, we can't talk about anything. And the thing is,
the only thing you could, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but the only thing you could talk about is the narrative. That narrative, you know, the status quo. That is the thing that we talk about,
and that's it.
And that's it.
Like I firmly stand against Trudeau at this point. You know what I mean? But if I wanted to be more likable, I would say no, we should totally like shut it down. Keep it shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but that would be the narrative.
It's way easier to say that.
Yeah, and what pissed me off the most about his speech is that it was so hypocritical. He was like, all these protesters are ruining small businesses. I'm like, well, bro, did you not close down small businesses for 2 years now? And he's like, and then he made a speech about like mental health. I'm like, yo, the best thing for mental health is for these mandates to stop, bro. And then he starts talking about like
dying, bro.
Yeah, people are fucking dying financially, but they're not on your news feed. You know, nobody's writing, oh, yo, I'm depressed. I put a gun in my mouth the other night, or yo, I'm running out of fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's not what you hear about. What you hear about is a fucking convoy. You know? But like, there's people in this neighborhood as we speak right now, living on the second floor of a duplex in Verdun.
They haven't paid their rent in 2 months.
That haven't paid their rent in 2 months, and that are fucking addicted to drugs, and that can't pay for their addiction, and that are ready to do crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah,
because of that. You know what I'm saying?
And those people we don't see on our newsfeed.
They don't even. They're part of select Facebook groups. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and that's what's frustrating, where he doesn't even address the problem, and he starts like beating the drums of like any other issue besides the convoy. He's talked about Islamophobia this past week, bro. I follow him on Facebook. He's like, Islamophobia, it's bad. Yo, we stand against that, and we never want to discriminate a minority. I'm like, bro, you're doing that with the whole unvaxxed thing. What are you talking about? You're essentially telling people you can make a living if you don't have the same opinion as me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Because you know how they do that? By saying that this group of people, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot. How many people? How many truckers are there? No, like a lot. I feel in the tens of thousands. There's 5,000.
Apparently 80% of them. Apparently 80% or 90% of them are actually vaxxed.
Yeah. That's the crazy stat. You know, that's the crazy stat. It's not about the vax thing.
It's not. It's about the freedom.
It's about these nonsensical, non-stop policies that are ruining people, but I'm not against the idea of keeping people safe, but I just feel like it's been done with such
Mismanagement
of resources. Like, build the hospitals, bro. What do you want me to tell you, bro? We've been in this pandemic for 2 years.
Yeah.
We just built a gigantic hospital. You're telling me there's 49 beds for COVID patients, bro? We just built a fucking gigantic hospital.
Yeah, in Montreal. Yeah.
Right before COVID, it was finished, right? It's gigantic, bro.
It's huge.
I guess, but also
hospital.
The problem is like dans les régions de Québec, you know, like
that's it.
Further,
like,
you know, they literally have 40 beds, you know, for COVID patients.
That's a lot.
But after 2 years, we know it was actually the whole the crippling health system that's weak. That's where the true bottleneck.
They were always at capacity.
Bottom line, that's what it is.
The bottom line, that's what it is.
If that were better, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
If we had more staff, more beds,
but
all the things we needed.
It's regular people like us and workers and small business owners that are just getting the short end of the stick over and over again with these mandates, man.
Bro,
it's so frustrating.
There's like hospitals make money when they get COVID.
I've seen conflicting stuff about
interesting. From what I've heard, this is a true facts. True facts, no questions. But also, this is a crazy one, and I spoke with Sam about this on the podcast before. My friend is a physiotherapist, and he gets paid almost 100K. He's been doing it for 2 years now. It's his first 2 years. He's almost getting paid 100K. He's actually not doing physio these days. He's actually vaccinating people because the company for who he works for has asked him to vaccinate people instead. He's getting paid twice as much, temps double, for vaccinating people, 160K, you know? And he just started, bro. It's the first time he vaccinates people. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, really.
That's
you know
crazy.
what I'm saying? 160K, you know, for that. And these nurses are not getting paid. Talk about mismanagement of resources. How can you not make... How can you be surprised when we're... when we ask questions about the legitimacy of how this pandemic is being managed, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of weird shit going on.
Well, I think that's what COVID or just the pandemic in general did the most. All these issues existed before the pandemic. There's always been there's always been a shortage of staff. People were always living, paycheck to paycheck. There was always a lapse in education and trust of the government, and this just exacerbates everything.
Exactly. It always gets worse. You remember, like, back in the days before COVID, like the good times, like we used to complain about the infrastructure in Montreal.
Yeah.
We used to complain about how much construction there was in Montreal. Mm-hmm. How much the fucking government makes extra bucks on the streets because they use cheap pavement instead of the good shit, the one that cracks all the time.
Yeah.
Just to put money in the wrong pockets,
Yeah.
That was like level 1 of mistrust, That was our level of mistrust for the government.
Those were the good
Those were the cutie ass days, mafia.
Yeah.
Adorable. Now it's fucking World Health Organization and everybody trying to make a profit on this pandemic, People getting paid $300 to stick Q-tips up your nose, man. For a PCR test, and shit like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's
like Walmart can stay open, but small businesses shut it down.
Crazy.
Doesn't make sense.
That's crazy nutsos. Yeah. Like Walmart, the most... You remember they used to do this? Like, they used to shut down parts of the supermarket. Like, okay, supermarket, non-essential goods.
Right, yeah.
Shut them down. And when they
Jesus
did that,
Christ.
I was flabbergasted. I think it's completely ridiculous to expect that putting saran wrap on certain products that we can't access them has anything to do with COVID safety.
Because they only did that for the people who are arguing for small businesses. They're like, you're closing down small grocery stores to have Walmart open, and then people are going into Walmart and buying a PS5 where it's non-essential. It was just for those people. They're like, okay, well, we'll surround wrap the PS5s, okay?
But we need to stay open. I mean, we are Walmart, okay? We're Walmart. So
it's another problem. It's
jokes,
corporate. It's that's what happens when we have big businesses that supply all of our needs.
Yeah, it's frustrating times, man. But yeah,
it's tough because I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I have this huge moral dilemma that I just think about all the time. It's obviously I'm tired. of all this stuff. I want to get back to playing shows. I just feel like just walking in a place and getting a beer, and I just
without a mask on, dude. I have so much social anxiety now.
Yeah.
But like not when I'm with friends, but just like walking into a place, I'm like, get away from me. Get away from me.
Yeah. I was at Costco and a lady got too close to me. I was like, can you please? But that's something I honestly appreciated. That I was getting my space everywhere I went. You know, like that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, even before the pandemic, I don't like invading people's personal space. Because I don't like my personal space invaded.
J-Rob always had a nice little nest, you know, when we lived together, you know, he was like, you know, set his shit up, you know, to function, you know, at pure efficiency when it comes to gaming, streaming, or content creating, you know. Just fucking nookie, you know what I'm saying?
He has his own garden in his room.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and he wakes up in the morning, little tea leaves.
Nest.
He doesn't use the bathroom. He uses the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. And then puts the compost.
Yeah. Shit it and give it back to the earth.